So when the Project Megapack team released the A330, so many of you were annoyed about the A320NX having to be uninstalled, and of course, none of the A320NX features being in the cockpit. Well, luckily we've now got a mod that solves that exact issue. Not only does this greatly improve the cockpit of this airliner by adding loads of avionics systems, it also means you don't have to uninstall the A320NX, so I mean the developer has done a fantastic and incredibly helpful job. Let's go take a look at this. Okay, so to install this, all you need is the A330 mod, of course, as well as the A320NX mod. Put it in your community file up here, put both of them in there, and of course, you need the compatibility mod, which is right at the bottom of my community file here. That's all you need to do. If you want to install the A320NX, you've got a few options. You can use the installer to install the stable version, which I recommend for those of you who aren't too bothered about the new features, or the development or experimental version. Now, they have some new features in them that the flybywire team are testing with, but of course they're not 100% stable and they are more likely to make your sim crash, so just bear that in mind. But aside from that, it's really easy. Just make sure you've got everything correctly installed. Now here we are in the A330 cockpit. You can see it's based off an A320 cockpit, but there's of course some modifications from the new throttle style to the movement of some buttons about to some different physical adaptations to the cockpit. They've done a pretty good job here, and it's freeware, of course. If you want to check out my video, I'll put a link up the top now. Now looking up into the overhead panel, you can see it's basically the same as the A320 default version, but there is a few new knobs. I think they've kind of fixed and messed around with some of these as well, hence the different texturing. But before this, it was basically the default A320 overhead panel, but now it's the A320NX overhead panel, with of course the modded adaptation still in place. There you go, you can hear we've got the A320NX noises as well as the A330 engine noises, so it really is the best of both worlds. And of course, external power. We'll hear the two beeps in a minute. You can see these screens are on self-test, which is of course from the A320NX. Of course, we don't get the textures over. It's basically for the primary flight display, navigation display, and the FMC or MCDU, I should say, as well. Now you can see the navigation display has automatically aligned. That is because I've just messed around with the realism settings, so I don't have to wait for 7 minutes for it to align. We've got all our fuel tanks on, we're ready to start the APU. Now the fantastic thing is that even though some of the buttons and that have moved, they still work 100% well. For example, the PFD display has moved from around here to over here, and as you can see, it still works. So it's nice to see that we just haven't put the A320NX cockpit in. Now even buttons that are covered by these brand new covers work as well, so we can click the nav button as well. You can hear we've got the APU starting up. Not too sure what's going on with those power lines in the background, they look rather ugly. Now the only thing I would say is that the A320 and A320 display up here do not match up with the A330. You can see here on the MCDU we've got the A320 MCDU just ported straight in, and while that might not be a massive problem for many, it does mean it's not 100% realistic, but hopefully down the line they may fix that, but I'm not 100% sure. To show this, you can see we've got A320-200 up here, and of course this does not match up with the A330 because one, it's a longer aircraft and the doors are in different places. But hey, aside from that, everything works as it should do. It's nice to see that the buttons that were brought in with the A330 haven't been moved back, and they do actually function as they should do. I took this aircraft for a flight earlier, coming in on an ILS approach into Toronto. Let's go take a look. So here we are on approach into Vancouver. Now I did load in, I didn't actually fly around because I've tested this aircraft before, and you can see there appears to be some sort of bug with the primary flight display down there. Obviously all our flaps are down right now, so we should be able to fly at this speed, and of course the aircraft can manage to. We've just got that red bar saying that the aircraft shouldn't really be flying at this speed, and which you know is a bit strange. I have to say, I was very impressed with the sounds coming from the A330. It's nice to see that they haven't been replaced by the A320 sounds. I still really struggle to land this aircraft. It's not that I can't land it, it's just that I can't flare in it, and I'm slightly unpredictable with the gears as well. But there we go, our first landing in the A330 with the A320NX cockpit. Tell me what you guys think down below. I should also say that the Project Megapack team have also sorted out the problems of the flaps with the recent release of the hotfix. Basically, Microsoft Flight Simulator doubled the effect of the flaps. To avoid this, the Project Megapack team halved the effect from the flaps, so they were basically neutral at 1. But this means, for those of you who haven't updated the A330 to version 0.2, you'll still have some issues with flaps. So, this is a very nice mod in my opinion. It adds a lot of realism into the A330. And while it's not perfect, you can see there is a few bugs in places, and of course we've still got the A320 coded into the MCDU. It does save a lot of work. I think it is the best alternative right now, and this makes the A330 quite a bit better in my opinion. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I do videos like this all the time. If you're new to my channel, welcome, it's nice to have you on board. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to my business class and first class members. A big thank you to my first class members, here's your shout out. Thank you to Simon Schmidt, 320, BK Cockpits Limited and Whiskey 2 Shots. If you want to find out how to become a channel member, just click that join button. But from me today, that is all, bye bye.